Okay, so let's talk for a second about step number 2. Okay, so hopefully you're still asking questions. Hopefully you're getting a little bit, just clarity is what I want for you, is on what you need to offer, who your ideal person is, all of that, okay? Again, remember, if you're just flat out, like, you're stuck, you can ask questions in the free group. Or if you really want me to go into some details, you're going to want to join my mentoring group. Okay, it's only $37 a month, and you get a social media manager to kind of look over your stuff. It's a pretty sweet deal. So let's talk about the path that people go on. Okay, so number one, you've got to have social media. Okay, whether you're starting them on Instagram or Facebook, they have to get to know you somewhere. Okay. I've seen people do this on their personal profile. I'm going to give a little warning here. If you're doing it on your personal profile, you can share once in a while, like I've got you asking questions, but you don't want to build your whole business on your personal because it's against Facebook rules. And I've seen them take down people's pages, personal profiles, like poof, gone. Okay, so you want to be building this on a business page or a group. So they start off on your social media page, group, wherever you want them, okay? And then you're going to give them an opt-in, okay? So what is an opt-in? Let's just define that first and foremost. An opt-in is where they give you a name and an email. I usually just do first name and their email, okay, in exchange for something. Okay, now on this, I like digital, and I'll tell you why. We live in an instant culture, okay? People want it, and they want it now, okay? So you could do a PDF, you could do a video series, you could do a class. The easiest thing for you to do is some sort of PDF. Okay, so let me give you some examples right quick, because if you're like me, you need some examples. I told you yesterday about my travel bloggers. So we are doing planners, okay? So it could be a planner for Yellowstone National Park. It could be a planner for, I have one who's doing stuff for Ohio. So it's really super specific. One of them is doing a camping guide. So best places to camp in X national park. Okay, it's got to be something that they're going to exchange their name and their email. Okay, and you have to go in and you have to set all this up. I love Flowdesk. If you are looking for an email or maybe email provider, or you've been using MailChimp or MailerLite, I will tell you hands down, I moved everything from MailerLite, MailChimp. I'm moving those for clients too, because Flowdesk is super simple. It's $19 a month. It grows with you. So usually on email providers, like the first 200 are a certain price, and then it just keeps going up and going up and going up. I have somebody right now that's paying, what did you tell me the other day? It's a brand new client, $1,700 a year. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So she could be paying 19. Okay. So I love Flowdesk, and I'll put a link to that down below. You get it for half price when you use the code that I have. Okay. So that's how you get the $19 a month instead of 38. So what is your email opt-in? Okay. What is it that will get them a quick win? Okay. What is it that will help them? Okay, so I want you to kind of think through that. Again, you should be getting some answers from your questions. Post another question today. Start to think through, like, what are some of what would be some things that would help them get a pretty quick win? Okay, now what I like to do is they get the freebie, right? But then once they put in their name and their email, it trips, okay? It tells your email provider inside that says, okay, we're going to send them, instead of just a, hey, thanks for subscribing, we're going to send them to another page that is what we call a tripwire. It's a one-time offer, okay? So it could be a physical or digital product. Again, if you can do it digital, y'all, that's the way to go. It needs to be highly discounted, like 50% off. So the ideal is like $7 to $37, okay? So I know, let's give you some examples, right? If I was doing essential oils, like my freebie would be, you know, diffuser recipes for eggs and mittens, okay? But then I would trip them into a $7 product that's maybe like 20 recipes every house needs, 20 ways. Like it could even be like a class that is not, maybe it's on your website, but it's at a higher rate. Okay. If you're doing anything for parents, like here's maybe like a checklist to see if your kids are, you know, doing things that they should be doing at that age. And then it trips into, you know, like here are activity sheets, here are learning things, like whatever that looks like, okay, for you. And again, if you're in the mentoring, go in there and ask the questions and I'll give you some suggestions, okay? So after they get the Tripwire, the one-time offer, okay, they either will purchase it or they won't, okay? And it just, yeah, there's no rhyme or reason on how many. They typically say 1 to 3%. And you need about 100 before you can kind of even gauge if it's doing well. Okay, like 100 people to even look at it. So it's not a super high number, but it pays for Facebook ads. It pays for promoted pins. It helps bring in income. Okay, so, but here's the biggest thing it does. Okay, is it builds that like and that trust. Okay, if you knock it out of the park with your opt-in and your Tripwire, they will come back and they will purchase from you every time. Okay, if they're your ideal person and they loved what you offered, man, they're going to come back and get that. Okay, so once you do the opt-in, okay, so on the freebie, there's 4 emails that you need to set up automatically. Okay, this is not somebody opts in and you go in and you write the email. In every single email setup, there's automation. Okay, so it says if somebody gets this opt-in, then these 4 emails come after that. Okay, and they're usually a day apart. Okay, so the first one is it's just kind of welcoming them, and then you're giving them the freebie. So you're telling a little bit of a story. So it could be like if I was going back to essential oils, I would say like, I don't know about you, but when I first started essential oils, like I didn't really believe they worked. I just really did not believe they were going to help solve some of the problems I was having. Man, was I surprised. So maybe you feel the same way. I get it. Okay. I would give them, you know, a little bit of some practical stuff, but then I would be like, okay, I know you're here for this opt-in. And so here you go. Here's the link for that. Okay. The second one is your best information. Okay. So again, if I was doing essential oils, I would be like, okay, I know I gave you a few for those. Here's some things that, you know, a few recipes for pain. Here's 3 more recipes that I use all the time. Okay, it doesn't have to be completely related to that, but it needs to still be within that realm. Okay, I'm not going to give them dessert recipes if they're after essential oils. That's not going to happen. Okay, so give them your best. Email number 3, what can they expect from you? Okay, tell them a fun story, but then what can they expect from you? Okay, and all of this is in the mentoring. I wrote all this up so you guys could see that. So if you're in there, you can just, it's under one of the units. So just make sure you grab the actual document that does all of this, okay? It helps you write these. But what can they expect? You have a Facebook group. How many times a week? I like to tell them even the days of when they're going to get emails. Okay, I go in and I schedule 2 days a week for emails. I usually do Tuesday and Fridays. I pick Friday because usually then I've got like a special offer, or I tell them about one of my products and people get paid on Friday. Okay, so that's the reason why Friday. It just, if you do it on Thursday and that's something they really want, but maybe they don't quite have the money in their bank at that moment, they'll think to themselves, I'm going to come back to this, but they'll totally forget about it when they walk away. Okay, so that's why I pick Fridays. And then email number 4, I re-offer the Tripwire. Okay, so I give them more, I give them way more value. I tell a little bit more story. I remind them about my Facebook group or whatever that looks like. But then I offer that Tripwire not at that same price. Okay, so if I offered it at $7, I'm not going to say, hey, you didn't get it. Here's the $7 one. Here's $7 again. I think that that is a integrity issue. Okay, because I just think if you say like this is a one-time offer for $7, then it needs to be a one-time offer for $7. Okay, so up it. If it's normally 14, give it to them for 10. Okay, by then they've seen the value that you're giving and they're more apt to want to purchase that. I actually get quite a few purchases from that. Okay, so just know that. Okay, so that's the 4-part welcome email series, and then after that they go into just your regular email. Okay, I do recommend twice a week, Tuesday, Thursdays. Okay. Okay, so here's your homework. I want you to figure out your opt-in. I want you to figure out your Tripwire, and then I want you to figure out the emails that you need to write. Okay, and if you're brand new to this, okay, I want you to go in. If you don't have an email provider at all, I recommend Flowdesk. Okay, hands down. You need to get that set up. If for some reason you already have one, if you already have one set up, go in and learn, like, how do we do automated? Okay, how do we do all of that? Because you're going to want to be able to do that. Okay, so it maybe need to be a little bit of a learning type part right here. Okay, but that's the path that they go on. They see you on social media, they get an email opt-in. I always trip them into a low price ticket offer, and then, man, I just come at them with value again and again and again and again. Okay, so again, if you have questions, you can come ask in the free group. If you want more information on the mentoring, because you want a little bit of, you know, a little bit more of me looking through this stuff, because I don't do that in the free group. Then I will put some information about the mentoring group. Okay, so you guys have any questions, let me know. Okay.